Hello, everybody.
Hello. All right. We are
Hello,
here,
hello.
the Sasquatch Podcast, and I'm here with Tara tonight, and Tara's here with me tonight. And I'm firing questions at her, and she's firing questions at me. But before we start, hi, Winnie. I have a public service announcement for people who go camping. So Friday I went camping, but we're going to get into your trip first because it's way more exciting.
Okay.
But Friday I went camping. So Thursday night I did all my grocery shopping. Today I'm driving home and I am legit gagging in my car. I'm like driving, I'm like, what the hell? I cannot, it is and I find clear in the bottom of my Yeti cooler a
Oh
raw
no.
chicken leg
Ew. Oh,
from
that's gotta be squishy.
Friday, and today is Thursday. So
Oh
a
gosh.
full week, no ice, just a
Oh.
raw chicken in my Yeti cooler of all things, which is getting bleached and
Oh yeah.
a bunch of other nasty shit thrown at it chemical wise. Um,
Yeah.
I really like how it shows you when the sound is. That's awesome. It highlights you when you're talking. Okay, we're using new tech tonight, people, and so far I got to say I'm impressed with it.
I
So,
like it. I
but
like it a lot.
let's get into your trip.
Okay. So, last, let me see. Well, my trip was to Land Between the Lakes on the Kentucky side.
Okay.
It is known, very well known for Bigfoot and Dogman.
Yes.
Uh, so I arrived there. I caravan down with Mary Fabian, the founder of Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project, and her sister
Awesome
Debbie.
lady.
Yes,
Yep.
she is. I love her. I stayed the night at her house actually Tuesday night, and then we left early Wednesday morning. We arrived rather late. It was probably 8:30, almost maybe 9 o'clock when we got there. Um, and we got to our campsites and we just crashed. Like I didn't even put my tent up. I was just like, no, I'm just pulled out my sleeping bags, curled up in my front seat with the sleeping bag, threw a blanket over my head, and I was out. I was done for the night. But got up the next morning to one of the most beautiful views I've ever seen. Because of course it was dark, so I didn't see the night before like anything really, just some
Oh.
trees. So woke up and I'm like, oh, I was surrounded on three sides by water, and it's beautiful, beautiful, Lake Barkley. And so got up, got my campsite set up, and was talking with Mary and Debbie, and we met. Then there was two people or two campsites that were no, actually one campsite was filled, and that was Joe Parker and Pat Harrison. And wonderful, wonderful people. Met them. They were part of the group. I should probably say what this was about, why I went. It was a meet and greet with Woodwalkers group.
Okay.
Squatch and Holler was also there. Flat Rock Wood Boogers was there. Um, there are other people that were there were like Bama Murdoch, and there were I'm not sure of like everybody like who they're associated with and whatnot, but there was like Sisters of the Moon. There's one that's called SASS, and I cannot remember what it stands for, and I greatly apologize if any of you are listening. Um, but there was also, let me see here. Um, oh my gosh, I'm totally missing, but like Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project represented and Woodwalkers, Squatch and Holler, Dixie Cryptid, um, Oh my gosh, there were quite a few groups there, and uh, it was awesome. It was so completely awesome. But anyways, we were camping at Red Hollow, which is next to Colson Hollow. Um, and Red Hollow, like I said, was complete. It was just beautiful, beautiful. And we went down. We ate some dinner with Pat and Joe. The first night we were there, she made us gumbo. She
Oh,
was a chef. Yeah, and she was a chef, like Louisiana chef. So it was Creole. It was divine. Oh my Lord. I swear, sometimes the best things I eat is when I'm camping.
oh
Um,
yeah.
Camp food, awesome. But Diane Dunn showed up then Thursday. Um, and she's with the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project. And then also Ken with Flat Rock Wood Boogers showed up, and he was camped right between me and Joe and Pat. And he had his dog Boo with him, which I found out down south they call Bigfoot boogers,
Yes.
which took me off guard at first. And I'm like, what? Boogers? And then I found out that Boo, Ken's dog, is a booger dog. They call them booger dogs. They have
Okay.
they have dogs. There were a lot, like when we went to Coastal Hollow, there were other dogs there too, but they're booger dogs because they alert when there is a Bigfoot, like in the woods or just any time that anywhere they are, and if they sense a Bigfoot, like they'll run to the wood line, start barking, making noise. They're really good at alerting you, which was
Okay.
awesome. Like, 'cause I'm a huge animal pet lover, and I'm like thinking of these animals like their safety and everything, but they don't like run into the woods. Like they just stand, like they stop. And I'm like, well, this is pretty awesome. So, but anyways, I went down to Colton Hollow that Thursday night with Diane and Debbie and Mary and Joe and Pat and Ken, and I got to meet everybody that was there. It was amazing. Like the atmosphere, like it was all good juju. Like there were dozens upon dozens of people there, and everyone just loved each other. It was almost like a Woodstock hippie party, I guess, but it was fabulous. I mean, listening to people share their experiences and just sharing all these stories and then hearing about things that have happened in the LBL. And it's like, oh my gosh. And so we went back to camp, and Friday morning we all got up again and um did another day of hanging out at the camp and eating. Oh God, we ate so much. But it was rather cold and windy. Like if it wasn't so windy, the temperature wouldn't have been so bad, uh
Yeah.
but but otherwise when Saturday came around, Saturday was absolutely gorgeous. Blue skies in the 60s, almost I think 70s. And Saturday was a really, really fun day. Um, we like I heard Boo barking. Boo started alerting between 2 and 4 a.m. on Saturday. And so I was kind of like, oh my gosh, Boo is barking. And Ken was trying to calm him down. And it wasn't like full barks, it was just this low, like,
Okay.
like, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, Saturday morning when I got up and I was walking around, I'd been up for a little while, and I walked over by my car after a couple hours, and in the sunlight, I saw a footprint by my car.
Oh
I'm like,
wow.
oh my gosh. So I got out my ruler, my tape measure, and it was 18 inches. So I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And then I remember Boo had been alerting. And I was like, oh my gosh, like he alerted, like this Bigfoot was in my camp and he was alerting to it. So I'm like, wow, he's a good booger dog. Uh, but we also went out hiking that day. We went to the site of a family massacre by a dog man in 1982.
Hmm.
We went to that site. I saw the tree that the little girl was found in. But the campsites are all gone. Anything that could have resembled any kind of a camp is gone. Like after this incident happened, the camp was torn up. I did see a cement pad where there had been a shower house, and you could see a couple areas in the ground cut out, like some holes where there was still some pipes and stuff like that. Um, but really, that was the only remnant of this campsite. Like that was it. That would make any kind of inkling that there was a campsite there. But
Okay.
we did find we found Bigfoot prints at the RV site. I looked down and happened to see something, and I called Randy Brooks over. It was Randy Brooks and Mary and her sister Debbie and Diane and Christine. We all were there hiking and checking things out. But we found prints, Bigfoot prints. They were about 18 or 19 inches long, and we found a trail of them leading down into the woods. We also found some really weird formations in the ground. There were all these swirls, like
Hmm.
little like swirls all over on the ground. So I didn't know if there was like wild pigs like finding mushrooms, like snouting around,
Mhm.
or what it was, but it was really strange because no one had ever seen this before. Um, but after that, we went to Hotel California, which I didn't think I was going to get to see Hotel California, and I was stoked because of how close it was to us. And that is, there's, what is that? What is Hotel California? Well, um, it's a building that was built. I don't remember who built it, but a gentleman built it, and I don't think he even got to live in it very long. And the Texas Valley Authority, that's when they took overland between the lakes and they moved people out. Oh, that's another thing. There's so many cemeteries on that land. There's cemeteries everywhere because of the people that used to live there. They had to bury their family. So there's all these family plots all over on this,
Yes.
like this land, and which is also dogmen are affiliated with cemeteries. But anyways, back to Hotel California. Um, the house that's still there. It's a cement building. All the windows, all the glass, all the doors, everything is off of it. And it's completely graffitied. Like there's graffitied rocks at the entrance to the hike down. You have to hike down this hill. All the trees are graffitied. So you just follow the graffiti really to the hotel. And it was an amazing sight to see this. And it's a real popular attraction for people to go to. But there is a guy that he thought he was a real vampire. And he practiced at this Hotel California. And it's also known too for witchcraft to be done also at this place. But anyways, this guy that really thought he was a vampire, he met a girl. She lived in Florida, and he and the girl wanted to be together, but of course the parents wouldn't let the girl be with him. So he came to Florida and murdered her parents. And this is really well known. There's a lot of podcasts that have covered this story.
Mhm.
Um, it is a very, very popular story. I think even like I don't know, not just only podcasts, but crime networks. Um, so many different people have covered this story. But yeah, this guy practiced his vampirism or witchcraft and whatnot at this Hotel California. So we had a lot of fun just out exploring. And then, we went down to the campsite, to Colson Hollow. that Saturday night, listened to more stories. Like I just loved hearing all these people's stories. And I learned more because I learned more about the spider crawl, the Bigfoot spider crawl, which freaks me the hell out. Like like Mike, you or was it Nikki was talking about the spider crawl,
Mm-hmm.
and then you brought it up more, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, this was just a couple weeks ago that we were all talking about it in our chat.
Right.
And I'm like, I was just like, yeah, right. No way. There were multiple people at this camp out that have actually seen them doing it. And he said it's one of the scariest things that you've ever seen. Like they walk
Yes.
on their fingers and toes and they're outstretched. And it's so freaky. I have chills right now. I have goosebumps right now just thinking about it. Like I can't get over it. I just can't get over this Bigfoot spider crawl and how they even managed to do that. It just blows my mind. But but yeah, there was all sorts of great food, and we did a raffle to raise money for next year. And I just have to say that I made some lifelong friends at this camp out. It was like I never felt scared. I never felt like weird vibes of any kind if I was alone or like at my campsite or anywhere. Like I felt at home, even though I knew that there were Bigfoots all over the place because you could see eyes watching you. But I never really felt scared at all. And it's like if they wanted to have done something to me, they certainly could have, but they didn't. They just kind of watch you. Like it is true, like we're their entertainment. And but that Saturday night, I was a little freaked out. I didn't sleep very well because I kept hearing coyotes and they kept getting closer. And I was hearing vocals, Bigfoot vocals as well. So that was kind of disturbing a little bit because I'm not a fan of packs of coyotes. No. And especially if they're
Right.
getting closer. But we all got up early Sunday morning to head out, and I was sitting in my car, my lights were on, getting ready to leave, and I saw something on my picnic table. And it was a rock. And I'm like, what's that rock doing there? And so I got out and I went and picked up this rock. I brought it back into my car, turned on the light. There was a dragonfly fossil on this rock.
Oh, wow.
I was stunned. My heart like grew. I was like, this is amazing. I was like, I truly believe I was gifted this rock by a Bigfoot. Like,
Right.
like, what are the odds to just find a rock haphazardly with a dragonfly fossil? Like that just doesn't
Yeah.
happen.
No.
And for it to to show up on my table like in the morning, like I don't know. I think I had a little bit of an admirer, but I was told yesterday that some people showed up on Sunday after I left camp because some of the people stuck around till Monday or Tuesday. That when we left camp, some other people pulled in, set up their camp, got all unpacked and whatnot. Well, 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, our friends heard the people packing up and like getting out of Dodge. Like they were gone. They
Hmm.
and I was laughing. I'm like, I guess my Bigfoot friend came back and was looking for me, but yeah, it was a long drive, but it didn't seem very long to get back home or it felt forever to get there because I was so excited. But yeah,
Yeah.
I had one of the most absolute best times of my life at this camp out. I can't wait until next year. It was just amazing, the people that I met, the stories that I heard, the camaraderie, the friendship that was easy, like the bonds that were made. It was just amazing. And I just absolutely loved it. I had a blast. It was just awesome. And I know, Mike, you were having some fun at your camp out.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's pretty much about a quick summary of my camp out, but I'm anxious to hear about yours.
Okay, well, before I go there, I made some notes as you was talking.
Yeah.
Pig, you said talked about the swirls.
Yeah.
When a pig roots, they put
Yeah.
their head down and they straight line plow. They don't
Oh,
go in
okay.
circles. And it
Oh,
legit looks like a farmer drove a tractor and plowed.
okay. So that's
Uh,
not what it was then.
No, I'll send you some pictures of it. The only other thing would possibly be a turkey but they're scratching to see what's underneath the leaves.
Yeah.
So if there's no leaf litter there, they don't need to scratch. They can just pick it and go.
Uh-huh.
So, but
Okay.
yeah, definitely not a pig. And when a turkey does it, it won't be one little spot. It'll
Uh-huh.
be this huge, because it's generally more than one bird. It's a wide swath
Okay.
of squirrels. It's the whole hillside will be tore up. If it's one bird, it'll generally it's just like a straight line, a straight line, a straight line, because he's just kicking with his feet. Now, when
Yeah.
you get a bunch of birds, yeah, they'll move in and around each other and they'll dig
Yeah.
together,
Yeah.
but it's a big damn area that they tear up.
Yeah. Yeah, this one was kind of confined. Like it was just really it was very, very strange. We were all very perplexed because none of us have ever seen this before in the woods ever. Not
Okay,
like there were four of us standing around finding all of these swirls, and I mean I've been out in the woods a lot and I've never seen anything like this before.
Bree.
So none of us had ever seen, and I mean, these are people that have been out in the woods for years and years, and none of us have ever seen this before. So
Okay.
it was really, really strange. So I'm interested to find out like what could be causing it. So I might just have to do a search and see if there's anything about swirls in the ground, what it could possibly be.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to look into. Now, you were in LBL, which is the equivalent of Kinzua, the Emma.
Yep, it is.
They, when LBL was made, it was made as a floodplain. There were towns, there were mines, there were houses, there were
Yeah.
cemeteries. Some of those cemeteries are under the lake. They said, hey, we're putting a lake here in the middle of your town.
Uh-huh.
You might want to move to higher ground.
Yes.
So there's roads that go straight into the lake. There's old train tracks that go
Hmm.
straight at exact
Yeah.
same thing as Kinzua. It
I mean,
was
our campsites were over a mile. You had to drive over a mile down a hill to get to our campsites.
okay. And then let's see here. Okay, yeah, the spider crawl. I have seen that, and it is some freaky shit.
Yeah.
Um, your coyotes, to me, that speaks Bigfoot. And because my next book is Sasquatch and the Mist of Coyotes, I've got a
Yes.
coyote Bigfoot correlation going on that I'm
Uh-huh.
about to dig into. But I had to let you know that those squirrels wasn't pigs, wasn't turkeys, wasn't
Okay.
deer, wasn't squirrel, was no known animal that I know of that does that.
Okay. Okay.
So my camp out, I get an invite to go to a secret location, and I went to said location, and I was there all of 5 minutes, I think. Um, I seen the people that invited me. I made my greetings. Hey, it's great to see you again. We go downstairs. There's a full blown bar set up, by the way, in this club. Bigfoot Clubhouse garage to this property. It was a
Uh-huh.
private property. And I get drug into the corner by this guy, and then I get invited to join the BFRO.
Uh-huh.
So I think that was the whole purpose of me being there.
Mhm.
And so this area is pretty famous, been on YouTube, and we didn't have anything happen that weekend. Didn't really find anything, but
Mhm.
it was one of the coolest things in my life because I'm in the woods. It's dark. I
Uh-huh.
have my radio, and I'm like, hey, I'm at such and such location, GPS location. I think I might have heard something. I know for a fact some coyotes blew up in front of me, and before I knew it, I hear, and right over top of me is a $30,000 thermal drone.
Oh my gosh.
And he's like, I see deer off to your left. You have three deer off to your left, 200. And I'm like, what? And I got my night vision. I can't see shit. And I got tested. I somehow got. I was taking out some newbies on a hike, and I had some newbies with me. But me and this guy were standing there, and right before the one thing that happened that kind of was like, there was uh it just there was peepers, there was crickets, the whole area just went dead silent. I mean,
Oh
like
gosh.
not a sound. And
Oh.
about 10 seconds later, you hear these coyotes blow up.
Oh boy.
So all sound ceases to exist, and then these coyotes blow up. And it wasn't a normal blow up, it was a high pitch, excited whine kind of. So there could have been one further out than I could have traveled, but I couldn't go on that land. I couldn't trespass on it
Yeah.
was beyond my border. But
Gotcha.
to radio that in, and then there is a $30,000 legit
Yeah.
30,000, and this is this guy's cheap thermal drone.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this is his El Cheapo that he don't care if he loses. Okay. I mean, I'm sure he does, but this
Yeah.
wasn't his top of the line drone. This was
Yeah.
his play drone. And this thing, the footage, because he had it hooked up to a full blown big screen TV, flat screen,
Uh-huh.
and so you could watch him fly it while he was flying. It told you the air temperature, the direction, GPS, this time, dates, all this stuff. But to see what that thing was capable of, I was jealous
Definitely.
as shit. I Had he not had a GPS tracker, I would have thrown
Uh-huh.
that thing in the Bigfoot limo and not known what happened to it. I
Oh
mean,
my gosh.
this thing was awesome. But
Uh-huh.
I never in my life had that. Just got on the radio and do you see
That's
me?
awesome.
Yeah, you're right over my head. What way do you want me to go? And I just point, and he watches me point from the. I mean,
Yeah.
he's like, "All right, zoom, gone," and I'm like, "Get him!" It's like I
Oh
can't
my
go over there,
gosh.
but he can. And this
Yeah.
thing had an insane amount of flight time. It had two battery packs that weigh more than my drone and batteries put together.
Wow.
I mean, this thing, it was probably 2 3 feet by 2 3 feet. You could ride it almost. I mean, it wasn't no little drone. It was like a small unmanned aircraft drone. But yeah, so that thing was sick. It was
Uh-huh.
now now what this guy does for a living is well, he does a lot of things. He does things for military operation, but one of the things that he does is he gets paid to like fly up to Alaska and count bears, count seal.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah, so he gets to go to all these amazing places and just fly his thermal drone and count critters. That's Yeah,
That is
it's
so
sick.
cool.
Yeah, but man, that his top of the line drone, I think he said, was just shy of 200,000 or 170,000, I think is what he
Holy
said.
crap.
Yeah, don't quote me on that, but he owns it's a legit company that does
Oh,
drone work
okay.
for people. Like he has a
Gotcha.
license, FAA license for it and whatnot. So
Oh,
yeah,
gotcha. So he knows what he's doing.
he knows what I didn't even pull my little inferior daytime drone out. It's like I'm
Yeah.
putting that sumbitch right in the car. I am not pulling out. I'm I was already emasculated by this monster thermal drone, but
Yeah.
he showed me some pictures of this daytime there this other drone, the good one, and it has like night vision camera plus thermal plus this that and it mixes it all together.
Uh-huh.
So complete darkness, but you could read the license plate on a car.
Wow.
Yeah, complete darkness, and you could literally count the hair sticking up on a horse's ear. I
Oh
mean,
my gosh.
yeah, it was like taking your cell phone cam, doing a close up of a horse, and only night vision. It was
Uh-huh.
sickening how cool this thing was. Of course, that one
That's
he didn't have
awesome.
with him, didn't get to fly it,
Yeah.
but just that was just a wicked ass drone. That was cool. That made my whole weekend.
Oh, I bet.
And then uh, I didn't commit to anything yet, but
Uh-huh.
uh, I'm going on because in order to get into the BFRO, they have a whole system. You have to
Uh-huh.
do one of their expeditions. So in
Yeah.
May, I'm going on a BFRO expedition.
Oh, that'd
But
be nice.
I told him even then I'm not sold, but I need to get to know more people and see
Oh
what
yeah,
they're
definitely.
because
Yeah.
this was basically a very small meet and greet for me. So
Uh-huh.
and actually the main purpose of this gathering was an eclipse party. So
Oh, okay.
it was an eclipse party for Bigfooters, and then like the
Uh-huh.
night before the eclipse, a bunch of kids from OSU and shit showed up. So
Oh wow.
yeah, people that she worked with. So yeah, but it was a good time. I met some really cool people.
Yeah.
I picked and camped out with B Mills, and of course I picked on her. And
Yeah, of course.
now I met a guy. His name's Brian Wolf, and he owns Wolf Radio FM. Now, Wolf Radio FM is a licensed internet radio station out of Cleveland area.
Hmm.
They play nationally, though, but they also go international.
Uh-huh.
And this is so weird that the way he explained it, but it's true. England banned all FM radio. If you
Huh.
go to England, FM radio is only for public service announcements, emergency announcements, things like that.
Uh-huh.
There's no radio stations anymore, FM in England. Everybody gets their radio via the internet radio.
Oh, okay.
So he has a huge following overseas. And
Awesome.
oddly, these people love paranormal Bigfoot shit. England doesn't
Awesome.
have Bigfoot, but they love Bigfoot stuff.
That's awesome. That's
So,
exciting.
yeah, he's starting on his radio station something called Cryptid Sundays.
Uh-huh.
And we are invited to put this podcast on that radio show.
No way.
Yes. He said he would give me the login info. All I have to do is download it to his radio station under an admin code, log out. He'll have the file. He'll do everything from there.
Oh my gosh.
So we're,
No, no way.
yes, what we're taking the podcast to the international level.
This
So
is amazing.
there's only one other podcast so far that he has online, which
Okay.
I I'm friends with. I've mentioned their name before, Cryptids of the Corn.
Yes.
So they were the first invite or the first mention of that. Well, then here I am at this event, and I mentioned what do you do? Well, I have a website. I look for Bigfoot. I've
Uh-huh.
got the podcast, and this guy's like,
Uh-huh.
wait a second, wait a second, you have a podcast? And I'm like,
Uh-huh.
yes. And I just get, sir, we need to talk. So, yeah,
Oh wow. Oh, I
yeah,
got goosebumps.
yeah. Because by the end of this weekend, this guy swears that, and he's older than me, great guy. He swears that when he grows up, he wants to be Mike Hartman. So,
Oh.
yeah, he's like, you have the best damn campfire stories of anyone I've ever. I love listening to you talk. He's like, I can only imagine what the podcast is like. I've got to check it out. And I think that night in his truck, I heard our podcast playing.
Are you serious?
I'm not 100% sure because we were tent camping. And
Yeah.
the last night it was 3 a.m. I had a little buddy heater, but I walk over to my tent and all of my gear, everything is absolutely covered in frost. The tent
Oh
was,
wow.
oh yeah, the tent was covered in frost. And I'm like, screw this. I'm sleeping in the Bigfoot limo.
Uh-huh.
So I went to the limo, turned on the heated seats, got like 12 mile per gallon, and I slept like a baby in the Bigfoot limo, warm and
Oh, I
toasty,
bet.
without a
That
blanket.
limo.
Yeah,
And I've been in this limo.
yeah,
And it is, you just want to kick back and ride. I mean,
yeah,
the seats are fabulous. I tested out the seats. They are warm
yeah,
and it is so comfortable. Air suspension, like
yeah,
those bumps didn't even feel like they were huge bumps and I was like clenching, like waiting for like the horrible like bump and everything. And nope, nope, just over it went. It was like, did it even go in the hole? Like, like this ride is awesome. I just have to let you people know this.
it is. And I've gotten beat to death in pickup trucks, and I knew that we're going to be doing vendor shows and whatnot. And it's like, I'm tired of showing up to places already beat up just from
Yeah.
driving there. So,
Uh-huh.
I got the Bigfoot limo, comfy the way there, try not to fall asleep on the way home. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So,
And
but
y'all, he's got a rack, like, oh, like a real luggage rack on top of this car. Like, you don't know how much shit you could put on this thing. Like, oh, I love it. Like, I was heckling like at first when he was talking about getting it and making this Bigfoot limo, and I'm like, you're a freaking idiot. Like, I told him that too. But I've seen this thing in person and I've ridden it, and I'm like, dude, you got it going.
sadly, that's the biggest rack they make that, and so that's why I bought it. But believe
Yes.
it or not, you're in my cords, brass. But I can actually buy sections of that cargo rack and take it clear
Uh-huh.
bumper to bumper if I wanted to.
No shit.
Yeah. So my plan is to go one more section that I can take
Uh-huh.
out and put in so I can put my tent on top of it. So
Uh-huh.
that way
Oh
if it
yeah.
rains, I'm not waking up with a soaking wet floor. The
Oh, that's a
water
good
will
idea.
just yeah, the water will just run right off. But
Uh-huh.
whole reason I went to the hammock
Uh-huh.
cot, or not hammock cot, but hammock tent. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, I do love the Bigfoot limo, but I go to that to go to sleep, and I'm not for sure, but I could have swore I heard us talking, and I'm like, am I losing my goddamn mind here or what? But I'm trying to listen, but at the same time, my eyes are like, "No, man, you're going to sleep." And I'm like, "No, I'm trying
Yes.
to figure out what I'm hearing." And I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure he went to bed listening to the podcast. So,
Oh my gosh. Oh
but
wow. That is amazing. That is so exciting.
so yep,
So exciting.
we're going to be working out the details with him.
Okay.
He's going to set up his cryptid Sundays. We won't have to worry about the video side because it'll be
Okay.
radio, which we can still do the video
Oh
just to
yeah.
talk to each other while we're
Yeah.
recording the podcast. But just resending that audio clip under and boom, he'll take care of the rest, and we'll be national, state radio, national radio, and international radio.
This is
So
amazing. I'm so excited.
it's going to be a lot of fun, I think.
I mean we have a lot of fun now as it is. I can only imagine.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
y'all, if my voice sounds funny and I sound nasally, my allergies are in high gear right now.
There's
And I'm
pollen.
gonna, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
I'm going to be like this for like the next month. So I'm just telling you, you're gonna have to get used to it. But this is why I sound the way I do. If I sound awkward, because I feel like I do, because I can't breathe out of my nose right now.
believe it or not, growing up, I somehow grew out of them. Now I just have fall allergies, but I
Uh-huh.
had the spring allergies, and they were so bad because pollen is ridiculous in the spring.
Yes.
My
Yes.
mom would not let me go outside without looking like a bank robber. She'd make me put pantyhose over my head.
Oh, you
I
poor thing.
I was at when they did the allergy test, out of 87 things, I was allergic to 88 because I had a reaction to the damn test overall.
Oh my gosh, Mike.
So I had like hospital admitting deadly asthma. And then my allergies have put me in the hospital on multiple occasions growing up because
Uh-huh.
I'd be like, yeah, I'm a little scratchy, and I'd wake up in the morning and they'd have to damn near trach me because my throat would just clench and swell shut and I couldn't breathe.
Oh, you
So
poor
they
thing.
yeah, they'd have to run tubes in me and stuff and get
Oh my
airway.
gosh.
Yeah, I was highly allergic to stuff. So I know what you're going through, but luckily somehow I don't know what happened, but I outgrew those. Now I just have the fall allergies. But
Well, I feel like that story would have made me feel a little bit better when I had my asthma attack and almost died in your hands. Yeah.
yeah, I was legit. When we were in that mountain laurel, I thought if she starts wheezing right now, how the hell do we get out of this
I
spider
know.
web
I know.
mess? That because
I know.
I mean, I was tucked into myself. I couldn't imagine trying to help someone out of that shit. But
I know. I know. Thankfully, though, I grabbed my inhaler before we got sucked into the mountain laurel.
this is
So I
true.
would have probably just sat there and been sucking on that for a little bit, and I would have been okay. Yeah, but at least
You
I
know,
had it that time.
I got to looking into it. and there's a mountain bike forum that calls Mountain Laurel Hell, or
Really?
the Laurels of Hell,
Oh my.
because it will encaps the mountain bike, the racing trails, and those
Uh-huh.
guys will get stuck in it, and their bikes will get stuck, and they can't get through it. So
Yeah.
there's a picture online of this guy. He's like pushing his mountain bike in front of him, and he's belly crawling behind us, trying to get through this patch. So they call it Laurel Hell, Hell's Laurel. Um,
Yeah, it is.
yeah,
Well,
it's legit.
I'm sure though, I don't know if that was in Pennsylvania or not, but if you
Yeah,
weren't in the state of Pennsylvania, you would have been able to cut it. Christ, you can't cut it in Pennsylvania. You get in trouble because it's the state flower.
that's probably why he was crawling under it. It might have been PA, because anywhere
Yeah.
else, yeah, they could probably cut
Laurel is
it.
not like that.
That stuff is legit. It really is. That stuff is legit, but it makes one hell of a habitat. But I found out the sap to it is
Uh-huh.
deadly, toxic, lethal. Do not ever mess with it. It makes like a honey, and they said
Really?
that stuff is ungodly toxic. It'll put you in a
Oh,
coma.
I didn't know. I didn't know it made sap. Well,
Hmm.
Christ.
Yeah,
Oh man.
yeah. I got into a laurel because I had to know what is this shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So you went down a rabbit hole with that.
Yeah, and I found out that stuff is will put you in a coma and kill you toxic. So,
Holy Christ.
but only if you ingest it. Like you can touch it and then it
Yeah.
won't absorb into you. It might make your
Yeah.
stomach a little queasy, but it
Okay.
won't. You have to ingest that honey, and after a certain amount, it's your lights out. So,
Oh wow. Huh.
but like there's certain things that like a bird can eat that won't bother them
Uh-huh.
but will damn near
Uh-huh.
kill us, and like
Exactly.
we can eat onions and chocolate, dogs can't. So
Exactly. Yep. Everything's system is different. Yeah, because birds can eat poison berries and not be sick
yeah,
or die.
yep. So it'd be interesting to see, because I've been that's the next rabbit hole, is the benefits of it besides habitat to wildlife. But as far
Uh-huh.
as habitat goes, that stuff makes a fantastic habitat for anything. I
Yes.
mean,
Yes, it does. Definitely good cover, that's for sure.
especially for moles, mice, which is going to attract snakes and rodents, and
Uh-huh.
you know, the fly was eaten by the spider was eaten by the bat was eaten by the fox was eaten by the coyote, and
Uh-huh.
it's the food chain effect. So
Yes.
if it attracts a little thing, it's going to attract something bigger to eat that little thing, and something bigger to eat that, and bigger to eat that, and so yeah, I see the benefits of it though.
Yes, definitely. But oh,
Uh, That sounds though. I got it. I wish I wouldn't have. Next year I will be at that LBL trip,
LBL.
hopefully.
Oh my
So
gosh, you're gonna have a blast. Like, I mean, and your personality, oh my goodness, it's gonna be a hoot.
now I actually bef- I had never yet heard the name Dog Man. I used to go turkey hunting in LBL every spring.
Really?
Yeah, so I wasn't. I knew about Bigfoot. I had already been armchairing it. We're talking mid 90s. So I was doing
Okay.
like some field work, but
Okay.
I never, for some reason, LBL had not yet came across my radar as a Bigfoot
Uh-huh.
radar, and I could never figure out why. But yeah, I was bow hunting down there solo, and then I heard a scream there one night, and
Uh-huh.
I assume it was Bigfoot, but I could be wrong. It could have been Dogman. I don't know,
Uh-huh.
but because I had never heard that word Dogman until years later. And now I think back of how many solo turkey hunt trips I went on to
You
LBL.
are lucky. You're lucky because there was a site. We didn't get to go to it. We ran out of time, but there's a bow hunter kill site um
Right?
by a dog man. Uh,
And that's
you
what
are
I
so
do.
lucky.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I bow hunt. I love to bow hunt. So, yeah, I dumbass could have
Yeah.
gotten wiped
That
out
is
by
one
the.
thing. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like that is one thing I like. There's a certain portion of LBL that is Dogman, and then the other
Hmm.
side is Bigfoot. And they don't cross each other. Like they
Right.
respect the boundaries and they don't cross it. Which I want to know what happened between Dogman and Bigfoot. Like, do they have like family story? Like, I don't know. I just have this random thought, but like you know how us family we pass things down from generation to generation like stories
Right.
like I wonder if like Dogman and Bigfoot like if there was like something like the Hatfield and the McCoys that happened between them and well they just don't associate with one another like I don't know I just weird thoughts just pop into my head and that's what they are that
I'm,
that
rel-
was one of them.
I'm related to Devil Anse Hatfield. I have pictures
Oh
of him. He's in my family genealogy, but
yeah.
with the Bigfoot Dogman thing, where my mind goes is you have coyotes and you have wolves.
Yes,
Now, both are compatible and both are canine, right?
correct.
The wolf pack is the deciding factor. Coyotes are, they call them the song dogs. They can't help but howl to those sounds.
Yes.
So when a wolf pack sounds off, if a pack of coyote responds, depending on how the situation with the wolves are, if their numbers are sustainable and they're they don't need to increase the size of their pack and perhaps there's a lack of food on the landscape, the wolves will run in and kill the coyotes.
Oh,
Now, if the coyotes are small and struggling in pack structure and size, a wolf howls, the coyotes respond. They'll run in and rape the coyotes and breed them. So,
oh,
yeah, a lot of people don't know that, but it's
not
legit
me.
true. Anyone who's hearing that, feel free to check me on it, and I guarantee you'll find out it to be true. But yeah, coyotes, they will either run in and kill, or wolves will either kill the coyote. Now, if there's plenty of food on the landscape, there's no, but if the coyotes come into the wolves' territory, the
Uh-huh.
wolves will kill them.
Huh.
But if the wolf pack is struggling, they'll run in and breed them.
Huh.
So the southern red wolf is on the brink of extinction, and they
Okay.
found a pack of coyotes that has a high percentage of red wolf DNA.
Interesting.
So there's an island out off of North Carolina where they put these red wolves to protect them. Well, now
Uh-huh.
they're implementing those high percentage red wolf DNA coyotes out there in hopes that they can bring back the numbers because they're so
Gotcha.
closely related. I mean,
Okay.
obviously they can interbreed, so but coyotes
Yes.
and red wolves are really closely related, although oddly enough, which makes really weird sense. We have coyotes all over America. You have them in PA, you heard them in
Yes.
Kentucky, I have them in Ohio. Do you know what the closest relative to a coyote is?
It's probably something that is not even close to what I would think it would be. It's
That
probably like a bird.
The African golden jackal.
Really?
That is the closest living relative of a coyote, DNA wise, is the African golden jackal.
Something that's not even in America,
Yeah,
unless you go to
something
a
that's
zoo.
not even touching the continent. Like Africa,
Eh,
water, us, more water,
yeah.
and yeah,
Huh.
that's the coyote's closest living relative is the African golden jackal.
Well, that's interesting.
It really is. It
Because
is.
now the thought's going through my head. Did this happen like when it was like Pangea? Like, because they have to, I
It
mean, I
it
have so many thoughts going through my head.
well, those are the two competing theories. Is that one that happened with Pangea?
Yeah.
The other is that
Because they
we
sure as hell didn't swim.
no, no, but the other theory is that we domesticated wolves, dogs, coyotes, things like that. Now,
Uh-huh.
those early hunting dogs were nowhere near what you would consider a hunting dog today.
Yeah.
Like they didn't sleep, and it was more or less the humans kind of followed like the pack of coyotes,
Uh-huh.
and the coyotes would jump the animals and run it. The human would kill the animal, and then the coyotes would come in to eat the bones and
Uh-huh.
the bodies and the
Scavengers
entrails.
type
And
stuff.
so the two learned to hunt and live in each other's proximity.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
then when we crossed Beringia, we brought dogs with us, these hunting dogs. So
Yeah.
was it Pangea or did the coyote come with us across Beringia
Uh-huh.
following? Did we had the
Yeah.
jackal with us, and the jackal somehow bred out with these other dogs, just like they can a
Uh-huh.
wolf, thus creating the coyote? Because those
Gotcha.
first dogs, those bloodlines are dead and gone, and we can't
Oh
replicate.
yeah.
We have no idea what they were. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think the coyote was oddly man created from the golden jackal, or Pangea happened. We ended up with coyotes that mixed with something, and that threw the
Uh-huh.
DNA loop off. So,
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, my brain's going.
it,
It's a scary thing.
it's interesting. It really is. But that's all I got for this show, unless you got
Yeah.
anything.
No, I just I don't know. As always, you always teach me something every time I'm on this podcast with you. That's why I love this podcast because I get to joke around and harass you and have fun. But it's knowledge, like I'm learning things too.
Right,
So,
right.
so it's like I get to harass you and you teach me things. It's great.
I learned things from you too. I mean, it's vice versa because there's things that you've said, and I'm like, no shit. It's like,
Really?
really?
Oh, that makes me
Yeah,
feel good.
yeah. Oh, yeah, it's vice versa. So, yeah,
Awesome. Well, yeah, that's all. I was just excited to hear about your camp out, and I was excited to talk about mine. And
heck
good
yeah.
things are coming. Good things are coming. I'm
Good things
excited.
are coming. It's going to be interesting to see what's in the future. So,
I'm excited though. I'm excited about it.
it's going to be fun. It's going to be
It is.
fun.
It is.
If nothing else, it's going to be fun. So,
Yes. So hold
well,
on to your pants, people.
yeah, no kidding. And I gotta admit, I've not heard any audio issues with this.
No, no, this was awesome. Like, this is amazing. Like, this is one of the best. I think this is the best ever that we've had. Like, we haven't had like any interruptions, no audio issues, like nothing with like the pictures. Everything has been smooth and clear this whole podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, it has been. So I think I'm happy with this new system. So,
Me too.
all right, well, you go take some more allergy meds and
Yeah, definitely.
hot showers and breathe through your nose. That's what always did it for me. Get the steam going and just breathe through your nose in steam. It'll flush it. So
I think I'll have to go do that. See if I have any of them shower steamers.
there you go. But all
Mm,
right, well, I'm gonna hit stop recording here. So everyone,
okay.
thanks for tuning in,
Yes, thank you.
and we'll be back.
Have a good night.